Welcome to the Leadership Purpose with Robin podcast. I'm your host, Robin L. Owens, PhD, and this is where we dive in each week to give advice, tools, and tips for high-achieving women leaders, and we talk about leadership purpose and its importance for you. I am a college professor, and when I am not doing that, I am speaking, writing, coaching, mentoring, and teaching high-achieving women leaders how to find, and not only find, but how to stay in alignment with their leadership purpose so they can make a meaningful difference right there in their career, leadership, or business. Okay, let's dive in. Before we get into the episode, I have an exciting invitation for you. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Robin, and I want to let you know and invite you to a new group I started. It's called the Leadership Purpose Community. The Leadership Purpose Community. And it's a group that I think would be a really good fit for you as a listener of the podcast, because it's an extension of the podcast and we discuss a lot of the issues we do in the podcast and even more. And we'll be focusing on finding fulfillment in our work through leadership purpose. We'll address issues that face high-achieving women, issues and challenges, and we also will celebrate the achievements of high-achieving women. And you know, as I always say, what I mean by high-achieving women, women who are professional, ambitious, goal-oriented, doing all the things and supporting everyone else. This group is for you. And so I think you'd really enjoy it. And I'd love to have you come and join us. Love, love, love to have you come and join us. So if you're interested, come on over to Facebook and search for the Leadership Purpose Community, or go directly to the website, www.facebook.com/groups/Leadership Purpose Community. Again, www.facebook.com/groups/Leadership Purpose Community. I'd really love for you to join us. Hope to see you there. Okay, let's get to the episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin podcast. So glad you're here and that you take time out of your busy day and schedule to listen into the podcast. Really appreciate you for listening in. And today I am talking with Ryan Dunphy. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Ryan. Ryan, you know, he just will tell you, the first thing he will tell you almost is how to get more of the right things done in less time. How to get more of the right things done in less time. And he's on a mission to help you maximize your time because, as he says, after all, time is the only finite resource we have. And when you learn to take control of your time, you can take control of everything and anything. Over the years, Ryan has fine-tuned his ideal week system to help you better manage your time, refine your focus, and help you control the chaos in your life. And Ryan will tell you so much more about this. Welcome, my friend, my colleague, Ryan Dunphy.
Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate you, and it's an honor to be a guest on your show.
So glad you're here. So glad you're here. Really appreciate you. Now, I just gave a little bit of your bio, just a short of your passion around helping people with their time. Why don't you tell us more about, first, a little bit about you, and then about your work?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Ryan, and I live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So I'm about 2 hours from New York, 2 hours from Philly. My wife and son and I are very big into the outdoors. So we are very excited for the weather to break and take the kayaks out and do a lot more hiking and biking. So we're very big on that. And I'm really excited for a speaking engagement I have actually tomorrow evening called Controlling the Chaos. So they read my bio and said, we want you to talk all about that. So I'm really excited for that workshop tomorrow evening.
That's great. I mean, who doesn't want to control their chaos? I mean, really, who doesn't? So that's going to be an awesome presentation.
Yeah, it's an interesting time we're living in. So, any little tips and tricks and kind of a reframe, it's really helpful. And again, like you mentioned in the bio, taking control of our time, we can manage anything. So with time being that finite resource, when we structure our week, when we structure our day, at the end of the day, there really is no such thing as time management. Spoiler alert. It's really just energy and activity management. So if we can be aware of that and be excellent by design, not perfect, plan for some of that randomness, plan for some of the adventure of it, then everything can be a little bit easier. Work doesn't have to be so hard. Life doesn't have to be so hard. We just have to be a little bit more intentional about it.
Yes, yes. How did you come to do this work? Tell us a little bit about your journey to coming to helping people with controlling the chaos.
Yeah, thank you. It's journey is a good word. Adventure is always synonymous there. Let's just say it has not been a smooth yellow brick road the whole time. Growing up, I was very active. I was always hiking, camping, playing sports, stuff like that. So I went to school for exercise science, and the concentration was health promotion and fitness management. So I knew I could work with people. I could be having fun while I was doing it, helping people. So it was kind of a meant to be journey. And after a while, I was working for a hospital system with patients after physical therapy and cardiac rehab. And I really enjoyed it. I loved working with those people and seeing them make that progress. But over the years, I just realized I kept seeing, for anybody listening and not watching, I'm using air quotes here, those same people and the same illnesses and the same injuries kind of over and over and over again. So there's a lot of recurring themes here. The story seems to be similar for a lot of people. So I started to get very curious with my patients to say, at its root cause, what landed you here in my chair? After a knee replacement, after a cardiac event, after gastric bypass because they needed to lose 100 pounds or more. And for so many of those people, it rooted back to stress. And we're going to talk in broad brush strokes here, but for so many people, stress comes into our lives and then we start to lose sleep. But that alarm clock is still going to go off at the same time tomorrow morning. We might hit the snooze button, try to get another 7 minutes because that's got to be the answer, right? 7 more minutes. That'll make me feel perfect and fine. And then we rush to get to work. Maybe we have a 600 calorie coffee on the way there. We didn't take the time to pack our lunch. So then we're running out to somewhere drive-through fast food for lunchtime. We rush back to the office. We wolf that food down. We continue to get stressed out. We get home and then we overeat because we haven't had enough real food all day long. And then the quality could be a little bit lower. The quantity could be a little bit higher. And then the last thing we want to do is move after we've just overeaten. So then, we go to the couch and we open up Netflix. And the next thing we know, it's, I just went right past my bedtime with one more episode. So now rinse and repeat that for 30 years. And yeah, you're going to have, you're going to be gaining weight. You're going to have a cardiac event. You're going to need some aftermarket parts. Never in human history have people been walking around with this many aftermarket parts. Medical technology is great, but so much of it can be avoided. So that's when I decided to launch a health coaching practice because I realized I was working with people after they crashed over that waterfall. Instead of being a little higher up the stream, waving the sign to say, hey, get out of the stream now, get out of the river now, it only gets worse. So helping people at stage 1, stage 2, instead of stage 4 really kind of lit me up. So I really enjoyed that. I started to do a lot more speaking on stress management because, again, that's the root cause for so many people, so many of these preventable illnesses, injuries, pain, wasted time, wasted money. So if we take control of our stress, then we're going to be in more control of our health. So as I continued to delve into that and did more research and work with more people and spoke at different places, I always had a time management component because time and stress are very connected as well. And then I started to just continue to connect the dots and I realized, wow, so stress was at the root cause, but underneath that is time. So every day, plus or minus a few minutes, we all have 16 hours. So if we manage our time, then we can manage our health, we can manage our money, we can manage our success, our happiness, anything. But time is the only finite resource. Everything else is a variable. So that's when I really went into the journey of time management and learning about that, creating my own system to share with people. And I test drove it for a year to make sure it worked, to work the kinks out of it and kind of create that template for people. So it's been a fun, interesting journey.
Yes. And, it's very interesting that you recognize the connection between time and stress. I mean,
Right.
That is a brilliant insight. And something that we all are impacted by that. We're all impacted by time and stress.
Yes.
When you were going through the day, I'm like, was he watching my day yesterday?
Well, for a lot of people, they're stuck in that quicksand pit of it's that cycle of, I'm tired all the time, so I don't want to take the time to go to the store. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like going for a walk around the block because now I'm 30 pounds overweight. Well, is it going to be easier or harder when you're 35 pounds overweight or 40 or 50? So, wherever you're at, whoever's listening to this, take control of your time now, put things on the calendar. We always, kind of talked with our patients at the fitness centers that the heaviest weight in a fitness center is the front door. Once you open that, you're good. And the hardest step is getting in the front door. But once you're there, you're fine. And I think for so many people, we all know, again, I'm doing air quotes here, we all know what we should and shouldn't be doing, eating, drinking, participating in, but it's just the implementation of that. So you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're not doing anything, you're not doing anything.
Right. I think it's such a valuable program that you have and that you offer people. And
thank you.
I'm delighted that you and I had a chance to collaborate with my own work on helping folks create courses, which is a new love of mine. And I know firsthand that your program is valuable. So if anybody experiences that, they will definitely have results for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure we have some time so I can brag about you there as well in this episode.
Okay. All right. So now we can hear already the passion, like as you were talking about how you got to this work, the passion is coming through. So tell us what you enjoy most about your work. I mean, it might be hard to pick one thing, but what do you really enjoy about the work that lights you up and why?
Yeah, I really love the positive ripple effect that it can have. People I know, people I work with, people I've never met and will never meet. It's fun to really help people with the awareness. I think one of the most fun parts for me is helping people that just get to slow down a little bit. For so many of our problems, if we take it down one gear, we slow down a little bit and we can look at different things. So the exercise I give most people is if we were to look at your life or this problem or this goal, whatever it is, let's look at it under a microscope and look at the details, but also let's hop in a hot air balloon and look at the whole landscape of what's going on. It's important to have those two different points of view. Resist the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi quote here about points of view, but you have to have multiple ways of looking at different things. So we want to look through the microscope. We also want to hop in that hot air balloon and look at the whole landscape. And for so many people, we have the answers within us. It sometimes just takes that, let's slow down a little bit, let's think about this, and let's prime our brain a little bit to say, well, what do you think about this? Or what are 3 things you could do here? What are some possible solutions here? And just kind of ask yourself better questions. That has been a really fun aspect of this. And it has led to some beautiful conversations and really cool aha moments for people. A lot of people in the personal development world will use the term blind spot. So if you can imagine in your car, there can be something in your blind spot. So without one of those little spotter mirrors or the little flashing triangle that, hey, somebody is sitting there in your blind spot, you just don't know. You're blind to that. So slowing down, looking at things finite as well as big picture is really fun and it's really important. And, some people, that's where they make those biggest strides of progress is, within the first meeting. It's so cool. The awareness is everything. And then we just get to implement it. We just get to work it out. Yeah, that's awesome. I can imagine that. I can imagine the light bulb moments going on and that blind spot. Yeah. It's like, how'd that get there? When you just recognize something don't even think about what's happening here. So that's awesome. All right. So now you've had lots of experience. From medical going now into time and stress and all that you're doing as a speaker and coach, based on your experience and expertise, what's one piece of advice you can give to the listener? Now, let me tell you who the listener is. The listener is high achieving women. Now, this is what I mean by that. Women who are professional, ambitious, goal oriented, doing all the things. They often support others in their personal life and their professional life, but they rarely receive the support. And as one of them said to me, it's because we make it look so easy, right? It looks like you don't need support because you're doing all the things. And so I thought, what a great idea to start a podcast and speak to that person and to that issue. Now we have lots of people who listen in to the podcast, not just high achieving women, but what would you say to high achieving women based on what I just mentioned to you? Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Robin. Well, I'm going to and my box of goodies here for my workshop tomorrow night. So for anybody that's listening to this, I'm holding up 24 $1 bills right now. And if we look at our time, like we look at our money of how are we spending it? Are we wasting it? Are we investing it? Again, I have the $24 kind of fanned out here. So if we were to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those go to sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those go to work, roughly, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Now we have $8 left. So we have our starting the day and ending the day. Some people use the terms morning routine and evening routine. Are we giving 2 of those dollars to Netflix? We have to see where we're spending it. So it's really, what do we do with those $6 each day? And like the one thing I don't have is a quarter. I will have that ready for tomorrow evening. But what I encourage people to do when they're starting to take control of their time and take care of themselves is focus on 1% for number one. So 1% of the day comes out between 14 and 15 minutes because 1 hour is 4% of the day. So I'm going to round up to 15 minutes because you're worth it. So what I want you to do is take 15 minutes to do something for you each day. You can split this 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the middle of the day, 5 minutes in the evening. This is not a time to catch up on emails. This is a time for cat videos or going for a walk or seeing something, coloring in a coloring book about penguins. I want you to do something that makes you happy each day because the word selfish, I think, has really been twisted in society. And in reality, everyone gets the best version of you when you meet your needs and take care of yourself. But if you're perpetually tired and you're perpetually all these different things, they're not getting the best version of you. We always want to give everybody the best version of ourselves. So not taking care of yourself is selfish. So there's a little reframe, for the listeners here of not taking care of yourself is selfish. You have to put yourself on that priority list. You have to be at the top of that because without your health, without your success, without all your different gifts, then you're going to be dependent upon everybody else, which is what most people don't want to be. So we need to take care of ourselves. So start with that 1% for number one of the day. Again, 1% of 24 hours between 14 and 15 minutes. We're rounding up because you're worth it. So take 15 minutes each day. And maybe it's just turning your phone off for 15 minutes or putting it on do not disturb mode. It's just doing something for you. This is not catching up on the to-do list, but you need to start somewhere. And it's amazing, like the leverage that this little 15 minutes has on the other 99% of the day. So it's huge. And that's one thing I love to share with people.
Yes, I love that. I love that because it's manageable. It's something we can do and it's something we can do often. We can do that every day and it doesn't take a lot of time. That's Absolutely. A wonderful tip. I really, really love that. So now, as you know, my work here in the podcast is about leadership purpose. So when you hear the term leadership purpose, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is something that is a culmination of all of your skills and experience. And it's something that you just feel drawn to. It's not borderline on effortless. It's living in your gifts, living in your superpowers and being able to step forward as a leader with playing to your strengths, whatever comes naturally to you. And it's the things that you're passionate about where it may not even seem like work. Just to give everybody some quick insight, a week ago on Sunday, unfortunately, a drunk driver flew off the road into the second-story bedroom of some dear friends of ours. Oh. And I was able to manage my state. And I am spearheading the support network for them. So we now have a Facebook group community of 500 people in the area that are willing to help these people with anything that they need because they are incredible pillars of the community kind of people. He was the T-ball coach. He's the local landscaper. She was the school nurse. Just incredible, incredible people.
That's so really tragic.
Her recovery is going to be years, in all different aspects. But we're very, very grateful that she's here with us. She's got a heck of a journey ahead. But I was able to step in and use all of my skills and my experience to build the support network for them. And I feel very blessed to do that. So I think that is one of my leadership purposes was, being able to do this. So in a week, like I said, I built up this Facebook group and put it out there into the world. And from my background with health and wellness, we all know the power of that before and after picture for somebody with weight loss. So I took a picture from Google Earth of the beautiful farmhouse before the accident, put it right next to a picture of the farmhouse with this big gaping hole in it, the truck flipped over next to the house. So it's really, really an impactful picture. And because I wanted to showcase the severity of what happened. And a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I said, well, maybe I can get 2,000 words out of this, and all of these efforts, in my opinion, again, what drives me and that ripple effect I spoke about earlier, if one person in a different country watches the video about what happened and says, hey, you know what, I'll get an Uber home tonight, or I'll call Lyft, or, I'll stop my buddy that, they were upset and they've been here at the pub or they've been here in my basement, I'll give them a ride home, or I'll get them a ride home, or here's a sleeping bag. That's worth it to me. So it's been an incredible thing. We've also set up a donation fundraiser to help them get back on their feet, which in a week generated $88,000 for them.
$88,000. That's amazing.
It's been a big week.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the tragedy and just kind of the randomness, like out of nowhere, you just never know that someone can experience that. And you jump right in using your own gifts and your own kind of superpowers to help. And now it yields all that support for that family at this time. Yeah. So that's a real testament and true example of leadership purpose. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I'm moved by the whole situation and your response to it. Yeah. It's
been a beautiful distraction. I'm in acceptance that I haven't dealt with this yet. I will deal with it, but this has been a beautiful distraction and a way for everyone to feel like they're part of this journey, because everybody feels so helpless right now.
Yeah.
So, we're able to do something for this amazing family that's always done things for the community for 30 plus years.
Yes. Good for you for doing that. And so that's a true example of one of the expressions of your leadership purpose. Do you think having leadership purpose is important?
Vital. Yeah. Having something that drives you is really important. Kind of like a parent will do anything for their child. You have that purpose, what's going to draw you. You don't need to push yourself to do it. It just, whatever it takes, whatever you need.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Of course, I concur. Yes. So, Ryan, we've been having such a wonderful conversation. Is there anything that I've not asked you that you'd like to mention, or any thought that just came to your mind right now in the past couple of minutes that you'd like to share before we tell people how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. So one thing I'd just like to encourage everybody to do is just take a few minutes, grab a piece of paper, and think about what would an ideal week look like for you? How would you manage your energy? How would you manage your activities? What would be a proper, successful sequence that can be repeatable every week? And this is not every minute is accounted for. This is a flow of the week. Again, starting with step one, maybe you wash the car every Thursday. That way, every Thursday, the car is getting clean. Or every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I shave in the morning. And it's, take some of the randomness out of life so we're not constantly reacting and putting fires out, which I'd be happy to gift my course to your listeners to help them to create an ideal week. And I want to, in a huge way, celebrate you, because you are the reason this course exists. And you are the reason that I'm having this amazing speaking opportunity tomorrow evening. You and I spoke on the phone in September of 2021. And, this is right when you were beginning. You've been designing courses for years as a professor, which is amazing. So I said, well, who better to learn from than Robin? So you helped me to really take everything and my systems and my PowerPoints, my worksheets and all my work and say, here it is in a concise course. And since it's a time management course, I said, I'd like the whole course to be able to be completed in 1 hour. Because somebody that needs help with time management probably doesn't have 15 hours for a time management course. So I want to celebrate you so much for this course, because now I get to share my gifts with the world in a bigger way. And it's opened amazing doors for me. So like I mentioned, I'm speaking at this workshop tomorrow evening, and it's directly because of that course. So you helped me to get the course done, planned out into the world. And 26 days after it went live, this company called me to say, we watched your course. We need you to speak. Are you available on this date? They are paying me, feeding me, and putting me in front of 40 companies that can hire me. So it worked. It's been awesome. A really fun journey. You took the overwhelm out of it for me and said, here, like I have my ideal week formula. You have your course creation formula. It's all right. Let's fill in the blanks with your stuff here. So it really made it feasible, and we got it out quite quickly, and now this course has opened up so many different things for me, because I can also use it as a bar for entry. So if a company is interested in having me in as a speaker, great. Here's a copy of my course. You can go through the whole thing in just an hour. It'll give you an idea of who I am, what I focus on. And as long as you're okay with somebody that's going to have fun, somebody that's going to talk about the outdoors, maybe mention Star Wars, it's going to resonate with the right people and repel the wrong people. So it's been hugely helpful for that. So to date, it has also saved me about 200 hours in the last 4 months, because every time somebody goes through that, I save an hour. It's also time management for me.
Yes.
So it was really helpful. So I want to celebrate you for helping me to create that course. It was fun to do it. I feel great that it's done. It also helps my credibility that I have this, and I can also extend it as a bonus to everybody I'm speaking to tomorrow. I'm going to invite them to take the course as well.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the fastest way you can convince someone that you can help them is to, drum roll, help them. So if you can offer somebody some help right there, then the right people are going to raise their hand for more help.
Yes. Thank you for that. And it is an awesome course, and your generosity of offering it to the listeners is wonderful. I appreciate that. And for people who are listening in right now and saying, what's this with you, Dr. Robin, and this course stuff? What about leadership purpose? Well, I have also added to my gifts and my own leadership purpose a new part of my work where I create masterful courses and help people do that. And if you're interested in it, and especially if you have a book and you like to turn your book into a course, I'm happy to help you with that. And I'll put the link in the show notes, and you can find out more about that in the show notes at createmasterfulcourses.com. And Ryan, again, I want to say, I really, truly, I'm not just saying this, I truly believe the value of your work is really making a difference in so many lives. I'm just so proud to know you, and just excited that I get to see your work just take off even more. I have a front seat.
Yeah, very grateful for you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So now tell people where they can get more from you, hear more about you, connect with you, and that kind of thing, because I'm guessing they're saying I need to control the chaos and get a hold of my time.
Wonderful. Well, funny you should mention that. I'm happy to gift all of your people a complimentary course. So yeah, I can include the link in the show notes here directly for the course. And the nice thing is you can start it one click later. I made it very, very easy and time efficient for you to use this. I've attached links for PDFs if you want to print anything out and write things. I know some people, they like all digital. Some people like to write things. So you have options there as well. So yeah, you can go through the whole course in an hour, and hey, it could save you an hour a day. So it's definitely worth it to slow down a little bit, evaluate where you're at, work on prioritization, build that flow of an ideal week, whether you work for yourself or for someone else. It's important to manage your energy and your activities. So I'm happy to extend that. I'm spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, so I can add my link there, and as well as Facebook. I pretty much live on Facebook. And if anybody is interested in, a course or a workshop for their team at work, I'd be happy to grab a virtual cup of coffee. Or if you as an individual need help with this, I'll include my Calendly link. I'm happy to grab a virtual cup of coffee via Zoom with you Or if you're within a couple hours of New York City or Philadelphia, maybe we can connect in person. So yeah, those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. And yeah.
Great. That's great. And those will be in the show notes. And for somebody who's on the move right now, what's your LinkedIn handle or your
Sure. So I can copy and paste it. I sent it over to you here, but it's
it's just Ryan Dunphy.
Yep. Yes, we are related to the Dunphys of Modern Family. Dunphy. Nobody could spell our last name until that show came out. So yes, we are the Dunphys. Ryan Dunphy. Yes.
Okay, so they can reach you, Ryan Dunphy. All right, Ryan Dunphy. Thank you for spending your time, your valuable time. You talked to us about, how valuable time is and how to manage it. And I know you're doing lots of things. So I appreciate you for taking time out and sharing with us and the listeners today. It was a joy to have you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And, I'll add something I used to say often, and ever since last Sunday, I'm now saying it every day. Love each day and embrace every day as a new adventure. We never know what things are going to happen outside of our control. So we do need to maximize the time that we are given. And it really is amazing. So go out there, love each day, treat it as an adventure.
All right. You heard it, everyone. And thank you for being here in another episode of the Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin podcast. And if you want more from me, you can go to my website, robinlowens.com, or you can reach me on social media, LinkedIn, or your favorite social media site at Robin L. Owens, PhD, Robin L. Owens, PhD. And I would love to hear from you. All right. Until next time, this is Dr. Robin. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Leadership Purpose with Robin podcast. If you enjoyed it, head on over and rate and subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every week, and I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. Meanwhile, this is Robin signing off. See you next time.